after we put that enhanced liquid fert out, or last Thursday, me and the ryegrass is really starting to show up now. Check out that colour, man, like it is dark green. Obviously the ryegrass just needed some nitrogen and a bit of iron, and it's really starting to shine through now. You can see a ton of it starting to pop up above the Kikuyu finally. Like this area looks like it's got ryegrass there now. Now I've just cleaned all the leaves off, and this silly tree here is just starting to drop some more. Dog, absolute dog. But today I'm thinking about doing an overseed on this area just to get it really, really thick and lush for winter time. We've got some rain coming this afternoon, so I thought, why not just get a little bit more seed out, use the rest of the bag that I've got there. I've got about 3 kilos, so we're not putting a ton out. Just enough to thicken up some of the thinner areas. But I mean, I'm actually really surprised of how much this has just changed in the past week after getting some liquid fertilizer out. So the main reason for doing this today is to focus on areas like this just here. Get some seed in there, get some actual sand in there, because as you can see, there's only a little bit of ryegrass here and there, and then it's pretty bare. So we need something in there. Big chunk of kike just there. This area here basically held no seed, and it all washed down towards the bottom. A bit there, a little bit through here. As you can see, a lot of it washed down here. A lot of it's died off because it got so hot and dry in those spots. Oh, that's a nice little chunk there. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. So if you've never overseeded your lawn before, super simple process. You do not have to core aerate if you don't want to. You don't have to do anything crazy. What you can do is get your seed, even if it's just for bare areas, and just chuck it out. You obviously can use a spreader if you're doing it over the whole lawn. The bare spots like that, chuck it out by hand, and then cover it with some sand or some soil. And the most important thing is to make sure that you water it constantly. So 3 to 4 times a day. It's a little bit easier this time of year when it's a bit cooler, but in the warmer months, you need to make sure that you're watering it enough that it doesn't dry out, but it doesn't flood. So this area here just washed out, which is why seed never took, because we got some heavy rain. But let's focus on this area now. I'll come down and top dress this area in a minute, and then we're gonna actually overseed the whole area and top dress the whole area as well, because I want this thing just shining for winter. It's getting better, but I want just that little bit better. If you did miss my previous video on this, the best way to really go about it if you're doing a whole lawn is scalp it back, put some plant growth regulator out a few days before you put your seed out, and then put your seed out with a drop spreader like we're about to do in a minute, and then put some soil over top of it and as I water it. So again, super simple. You can put some granular fertilizer out with some higher P and higher K in there as well, like an autumn fertilizer, just to really help the seed establish and get its roots nice and deep down in there. You don't have to put fertilizer out, but as you can see, I put some fertilizer out here after it came up. It's made a world of difference on this area, getting out some liquid nitrogen, because ryegrass is quite a hungry grass, so it shines when you push some nitrogen on it. Now, today we're not obviously going to scalp it back, we're just doing an overseed on top of an existing overseed. So we're not going too crazy with it, but I still am going to use the drop spreader. I cut it down as low as I could with the John Deere right on and picked all the leaves up at the same time. Still not super low, we're sitting at about 15 millimeters, which is okay. So we're going to have to make sure we put the seed down and then also top dress this area so that the seed is covered. A lot of it will drop down in there. We just don't want any sitting on top, so that's why we're going to put the sand on top of there as well, just to make this job get better results. And we've got rain coming this afternoon, so we are set as well, aren't we? Yes. So use my blend here, got a bit of seed here, a little bit more in the shed. We're going to go out at like a low rate, like 1 kilo per 100 square meters. So I'm going to put out 2 kilos. We might just do 3. So I think there's about 3 kilos left in the bag, but just enough to thicken it up. We've put the areas that are a little bit barer, put a bit more seed in there by hand. The rest of it is want even coverage across the board, just to get it nice and lush. Now when putting seed out, make sure you use a drop spreader, not a broadcast spreader. So a drop spreader is going to drop your seed straight down, whereas a broadcast one is going to flick it out to the left and the right and forwards as well. a little bit higher, goes in the garden beds, makes a mess. So still good to use these for overseeding. If you've only got a broadcast spreader, just stay away from your garden beds and just be aware that it can like overspray a little bit. And you get a lot more even results with this, but you need to make sure you go 2 to 3 directions with this one as well, because you can sometimes miss a run. And it's super obvious when you do. To set this super low, I'd rather go over it more times than not. So I'm gonna go on setting number, we're gonna go like 8. Let's go number 8. I might get over it like 4 times, but whatever. Number seed. So I'm just having a look at this now, and you can see the seed sitting on top, but as soon as you brush your hand over it, it drops down to the soil. So you know what? I'm not going to top dress the majority of the area today. I'm only going to do the bare spots on the edges. Now, it'll definitely come up. I've done this before and it's not a problem. Just looking at it, the grass is so thick, it's not really going to make a difference top dressing with sand. Maybe a little bit with moisture retention, but we're that cool now that it's not really going to matter that much. What do you reckon, dogs? Do you agree? So yeah, we'll save ourselves some time and some sand as well, not wasting a ton of sand, because we don't really need it on this area at the moment apart from to cover seed, but since there's so much grass there, it's not really a problem. So we'll top dress the areas that need it, and that's going to be it. Then we're just going to keep the water up to it, or the rain, hey? So we'll cover these thin spots up. We're not going to go a heavy top dress. You don't need to with seed, otherwise it won't poke through properly. We just want to go lightly, like that. So 10 mil in thickness around that. It can be a bit less, it can be a slight bit more. Just enough though to cover our seed. And then all we do is get our lawn level, push it around, get the sand to drop down and sit there nicely, and there's a tiny bit more in there as well. Yeah, that's better. Last thing I'm going to do is just get the lawn level, brush it along the whole top of the surface to help that seed just drop down below the grass blades, because you even saw when I rubbed it before, you can just see the seed drop down in there nicely. The rain that we get this afternoon too will help push it down a little bit lower. So from here on in, as I've mentioned a few times in this video already, water, water, and more water. Not too much, not too little. Luckily it's cool enough now, get away with 1 to 2 waters a day, and we're going to be sweet. Plus we've got some rain coming up, which is the main reason I did this, because I don't have to think about it quite as much. Sorry if it's really, really windy. But as you can see, the storm's starting to come in now, but we're not going to do much else with this. No fertilizer out until probably a week after germination, so in 2 weeks time, we'll get some fertilizer out. Probably go just with liquids from here on in because it's a little bit cooler, and just keep this thing ticking along, and hopefully it's striping up like crazy in the next couple of weeks. That's what I wanted. That's why I'm overseeding. I know I said I wasn't going to overseed, but I just couldn't help myself. Anyway, thank you all for watching so much. Appreciate yours, and I'll see you in the next video.